think that you can all see me. If you can't, let me know. I think that you can all hear me as well. Hopefully we're good to go. Ooh. Good stuff. I think we are good to go. If you are watching right now, please feel free to share this. In fact, don't only feel free to share it, but I am asking you to share it. This is breaking news. Andrew McCabe has been fired. Listen. Give me a second. I'm just sharing this. So, Andrew McCabe has officially been fired from the FBI. Before, as many of you all remember, it was claimed that he stepped down by his own accord. However, he is not. And I said actually when it happened that the mainstream media was attempting to pretend as if it was some voluntary reassignment. I, however, have been part of the military, being in I guess what you would call an authoritative organization like the FBI or the Army. You know that when someone of prestige steps down, it's because they're trying to avoid losing their retirement. You see this with officers all the time. Anyone can tell you in the military that if you see a captain or a major or a colonel step down from their position, it's because they're trying not to lose their pension. Now, for those of you who are unfamiliar with what Andrew McCabe has done, text messages revealed that he was indeed colluding with high-ranking members in the FBI to undermine the Trump administration. On top of that, he actually had his wife taking money from Clintonites, or Clintonistas, if you will, people within the Clinton mafia, during her campaign in Virginia, while he was investigating her. Mind you, Andrew McCabe was also the one who was in charge of the Russiagate investigation. So clearly, this was a huge conflict of interest. And I'm not saying that Andrew McCabe was an evil guy, but he should be in jail. Like, let's be very clear. He colluded and conspired against the President of the United States of America, the office, if you will, of the President of the United States of America. I don't like Trump, but I don't have to like Trump to know that you can't conspire against the office of the President of the United States of America. The fact that he thought that he was going to keep his pension, knowing how petty Trump is laughable. We have just seen Trump go on a huge firing spree this week. Essentially, anyone who has been proven as disloyal to him has been fired. Anyone, and when I say disloyal, I mean, he doesn't necessarily require that you have undying loyalty to him to stay in the administration. But what he is not going to tolerate, which I actually agree with, is using your institution, using your position of authority to undermine the executive office. Because that is a slippery slope. Now, I understand maybe Trump fired him for like egotistical reasons. And that is probably a necessary evil because Andrew McCabe needed to be gone. Robert Mueller needs to be gone as well. James Comey needs to be gone. This is, I don't know how else I can say an FBI, the director of the FBI in James Comey perjured himself, lied and spied and recorded conversations with the President of the United States of America. I don't give a damn if his name is Trump, Obama, or Bernie Sanders. You can't do that. You can't change the wording in a particular investigation to suit your political agendas. If you knew that Andrew McCabe's wife was accepting money from Clinton and her backers, why would you then allow him to be the lead investigator in the Clinton email scandal? It doesn't make any sense unless you're designing the system to be that way, right? Which clearly they were. Now, given the text messages that were released from the two senior FBI officials that were dating, I think that Andrew McCabe better be thankful that he's not in jail. But I am not entirely convinced that he won't end up in jail. I think there is a possibility that this gets taken a step further. I think that Trump is not done firing people. A lot of the people who have been fired, they're quoting and citing that they have differences in foreign policy. Now, what it seems to me is that Trump has taken himself, like personally, a very isolationist, nationalist foreign policy approach, which in this current market, in the current economy, given what we know about the war hawk political agenda that both the establishment Republicans and the establishment left have, I actually am not really all that upset with an isolationist policy at the moment, because what that means to me as a progressive, as a reduction in foreign interference, and interference in government elections, interference in proxy wars, etc., etc. Like the reduction in our involvement in the destabilization of Middle Eastern countries and countries in Africa as well. So I am actually okay with an isolationist policy, because it's like elementary school and when you're in daycare. If you don't know how to play well with others, then you need to be put in a corner. And to be totally honest with you, America needs to be put in the corner right now, because we're not playing well with others at all. So we saw Rex Tillerson go. Go check out that video that I posted earlier about Rex Tillerson and the good part for Trump and the bad parts about hiring Mike Pompeo. So we saw Rex Tillerson go, and I said that Rex Tillerson was probably going to be gone a while ago because he is establishment to the core. However, he was put in because Trump did not know who to put in and probably thought that he had somebody that he can trust put people in office and appoint people to those powerful positions. Clearly, it's not the case. Jeff Sessions got the first warning, if y'all don't remember, a few months back. I want to say September, November, and Omarosa got fired. But obviously, Tillerson isn't the first. He won't be the last. McCabe wasn't the first. He won't be the last. Comey technically was the first. He definitely wasn't the last. So what we are seeing is that people who are not like aligning with Trump's view on foreign policy, because I do believe, despite popular belief, Trump does not want bad things for this country. He doesn't want to be known as a president who plummets the country into a depression and throws us into another world war that we couldn't possibly win. It's not for altruistic reasons, so don't get me wrong. It's because he's very concerned about his brand and what that brand means for the future of his family. I've said that very, very time. It's legitimately a self-interest issue. But when someone as powerful and as egomaniacal as Trump in power, we need to consider what things he will do and will not do to protect his image. And Tillerson was threatening to send us into Syria indefinitely after, which is once again a direct conflict of Donald Trump's policy when he got the CIA to pull out. Notice that he brought in Mike Pompeo. I am not a fan of Mike Pompeo. Let me be very clear about this guy. He is a torturing, Muslim-hating racist. However, Trump trusts him. Why? He has no connections to the establishment. He has not been proven as disloyal to Trump. He has not worked with Robert Mueller for the Russiagate investigation. And when Trump pulled the CIA out of Russia after Mike Pompeo briefed him on what we were doing, out of Syria, after Mike Pompeo briefed him on what we were doing in Syria, Mike Pompeo did not fight back. So we see that Trump is now building an administration of those who would be likely more isolationist-ish, kind of. And don't get me wrong, Mike Pompeo has a lot of issues still. And I don't want that to be misconstrued, but I'm just trying to help you all understand what direction Trump seems to be heading in. So once again, for Trump fans, it actually looks pretty good for them. For Trump himself, it looks a little bit better. I did a video saying that Trump looked like he was going to enter TPP, but he was on the fence. Trump has not said anything about TPP since. So good news for everybody, progressives and conservatives. There looks like there's not going to be a TPP involving America, which I'm extremely thankful for, and you all should be extremely thankful for, because that means we protect American jobs. Good thing that Trump did. It looks like because Rex Tillerson is out of the picture, we won't be going back into Syria. It looks like that. I don't know if that's going to end up happening, but that's what it looks like. Because Andrew McCabe is fired, I think that the most important takeaway from all of this is that we are finally seeing results. Results that we have been demanding, results that we have been salivating over since 2015, when we knew, as well as everyone else who had any type of eyes or ears and paid any type of attention to politics, knew that there was colluding between the FBI, with the Hillary Clinton campaign, and with the media, with the shadow government and the deep state and their political interests in the U.S. Andrew McCabe was clearly an arm of that propagandist wing of the left. I don't think anybody can really disagree with that. If you want to disagree with that, go ahead and look at the texts that were released. I'm not going to go into all that right now. I think that, which I've said before, and kind of makes me cringe a little bit to say it, but he's a billionaire, so Trump is one of those people who will outsmart the system. And it's not necessarily in a good way, because he doesn't do it, well, I won't say good way, I don't like saying good. It's not in a normalized way. So Trump will outsmart the system by doing something as seemingly simple as appointing a no-name, nobody congressman from Kansas who no one knows, like Mike Pompeo, to be the director of the CIA. Now, as much as we've been talking about John Brennan and other former directors of the CIA and the FBI, notice how we've rarely, if ever, mentioned Mike Pompeo. Do you know why? Because Mike Pompeo has been playing ball with Donald Trump, so Donald Trump has never had to tweet about him. That is not a coincidence. This is the same thing as anyone else in any other job in the U.S. government. If you're doing your job, unfortunately, 90% of the time, you do not get recognition, you do not make the news, you do not get the television coverage, and Mike Pompeo has been doing that. Mike Pompeo didn't even get mentioned whenever Trump decided to pull the CIA out of Syria, but Mike Pompeo clearly was an intricate force in that. So, Trump firing McCabe, or Jeff Sessions firing McCabe, proves one major thing, that Trump actually might have more control over this administration than we had previously thought, which is a big deal. That's a big deal. It also proves that Trump can somehow coerce Sessions into doing what he needs him to do, into prosecuting, into firing, into holding people accountable. So, this is huge. Andrew McCabe, once again, should be thankful and lucky that he's not in jail right now, let alone getting a pension. But I would love to know your thoughts on this, so make sure you leave your comments and your thoughts below. If you have not subscribed to the channel, make sure you do so. Thank you all for the support that you've all been giving. Of course, before I go, thanks to the Patreon subscribers. I'm sure you've all seen the new camera and the new setup in the recent episodes that I've been putting out. That is all thanks to you and your support. We're going to be traveling here pretty soon to go cover some things overseas in other countries like Puerto Rico. We're actually going to go to Cuba and cover some of the misinformation or disinformation that has been coming out of both of those places as well. So, thank you all so much for tuning into this breaking news coverage. Check us out tomorrow morning. We're going to release some breaking news about YouTube. And always remember, ladies and gentlemen, find your balance. Peace.